Hi friends, today I wanted to share with you an oracle deck that I received in the mail from the whitewitch.com. I'll put a link in the description box down below. This is a little different than some of the other videos I've done because this oracle is based on runes rather than tarot or tarot type imagery. So this is, I don't know if you can really see it very well, very nice embossed box that this came in. This is the Witch's Familiar Runic Oracle. And as you can see, it's a little bit on the thin side, which is kind of nice. This is based on, let's talk a little bit about runes. What exactly is a rune? I believe the equivalent idea to what a rune is it's sort of like a letter of an alphabet. So the runes that are used in divination have come from the Proto-Germanic system of writing, which was called runes. And the runes basically formed an alphabet. So as similar as we have today, the alphabet based on alpha, beta from the Greek, and then we derive the word alphabet. Back a couple of thousand years ago, before we had an English alphabet, we had Greek alphabet, there was a Roman alphabet, and there was this Proto-Germanic rune alphabet. The oldest that we know of the Proto-Germanic rune alphabets is called, rather than being called alphabet, it's called a futhark. And that's because that's the way the initial letters are put together, as we say alphabet for alpha, beta, and so on. The word futhark itself comes from the first few runes in the runic alphabet. So let me show you these cards. First, I'd also like to say, when people use runes for divination, they usually have the runic symbol engraved and on a stone or a little piece of wood. And so they'll use those similar to dice and cast the runes, and then they'll read your fortune that way. But this is actually runes integrated into oracle cards, which is kind of more my style. I think an easy way to think of it is similar to when you're learning the alphabet when you're a little kid. A is apple, B ball, C cat, and that's the way these runes were named. There were the sound at the beginning of the word, and then the entire word was associated with it. So as we go through these, I'm going to tell you a little bit of what I have learned about the Elder Futhark runes and how they originated. The first rune that you normally see in this runic alphabet is called Fehu, and it's the rune from which we derive the letter F. And it literally means fee. And so it means, literally, the word Fehu literally means cattle. It also is concerned with wealth, property, fee, such as a parking fee. So when this card comes up in a reading, or when you cast a rune that has this symbol that looks like an F, it means you have some issue concerning finances, worth, or value. So that's sort of a cute little squirrel there with his acorn. He's got something worthwhile to him. These cards are just so darling. I really love them. I love the artwork. I actually ordered some extra large prints that I can hang on my wall of a couple of these cards. So we've got like a wood here, mushroom, some greenery growing, kind of the outline of the moon there. And then all these cards have like this lines of energy going out from behind the animal that illustrates the meaning of each card. So there is Fehu, meaning worth, value, finances. Next we have, and this sort of looks like an upside down U. This is Uruz, and it literally means oxen. So this is the card that means strength or health. I love these oak leaves down here and the crystals. Really pretty. All right, this symbol here is called futhark, and here it is written in modern script, but this symbol here actually means the TH sound, futhark, and that literally means thorn, or it could also be derived from the name of a giant in Old Norse mythology. And when you see this card or this rune come up, it means directed energy or violence. Now this looks similar to the Fehu, but if you'll notice the lines point up in the Fehu. In this rune the lines point down, and it's more like in sort of a, it's kind of similar to the way when you make an A, the lines point down. And this is Ansus, so it has the sound of an A. And Ansus is the name of a god. Aser is the family of gods in Old Norse mythology. And when you see this card come up, it means communication, wisdom, thoughts, words. So it's sort of similar to the element of air. So that is Ansus. This is Rado, which means literally ride. And as you can see, it's got an R similar to the R we have in modern day alphabet, Rido. Very nice. So take a ride here on this whale. I like the jellyfish. They're very cute. All right, this is the rune, which is similar to a K in modern alphabet, but it doesn't have the line on the side here. But this is Kenaz, or Kauna, and it means literally a blister, a boil, or a sore. And sometimes it's referred to as a torch. So it's thought of as heat, energy, work, toil. So as you can see, he's got this torch. So there is Kenaz. Looks to me like this author interprets this Kenaz also as wisdom, because to me, you know, here we have the books and the owl, who's a symbol of learning. All right, now this would look like an X, but it is not an X. It's the sound of G, so Gebo, and it literally means gift in Old Norse. And when this card or this rune comes up in a reading, it means that you have a talent or you have some generosity involved, or there's a partnership going on, there's some give and take, or you've received some kind of a nice gift from someone, a donation perhaps. This looks like a P, but it's pronounced as a W. So this is the symbol for Wunjo. And that literally means joy in Old Norse. So when you see this card come up, it means joy, victory, success, good luck. Wunjo. Now this looks like an N, but it really is not an N. It's got a curved line in the middle there, and this is an H, an early H. Sometimes you'll see a double line across the middle in this particular rune. This is Hagalaz, and it literally means hail. So when you see this card come up, you're going to expect chaos, destruction, drama, or some type of a hazard in your way. This is actually the rune that's more like our modern day N, and it looks a little like an N, but it doesn't have that second straight line there. But this is the rune naudiz, and it literally means need, desperation, emergency, necessity, delay, or patience when you see this come up. I like that it's got a sloth there, very slow animal. Now this is pretty easy. This is Isa, which means ice. And it means you're frozen, rigid, or there may be a cooling off period. You're kind of in a waiting zone. And so we have this image here kind of like the hanged man in tarot. So Isa or ice. This is Yera. This is from which we have modern day sound of Y, Yera. And it literally means year, but it is more often, the meaning is more associated as being harvest or the completion of a cycle. So here we have a bee busily working, and it means you're getting the fruits of your labor, you're being rewarded, and you have great accomplishments. So Yerda, year, harvest, accomplishments. This is Iwas, and it sort of represents the sound of the short A as cat or bat. And it's thought to, this symbol is thought to have been originated from a yew tree, because the yew tree can bend easily, the branches bend and can be made into a bow or whatever shape you like. So when you see this rune come up, Iwas, it means to protect, to preserve, and sometimes there's some constriction involved because of the aspect of how it has been made into a bow. And you can think of a bow having the tight band across the bow there to cause it to constrict. And this is the modern sound of this is a P. It doesn't look like a P. It's perthro. And it's thought it may have originated as the word for pear tree or perdo, but it means, when you see it come up in a reading, it means chance, gamble, fate, or something that's unknowable. I love this card. Isn't that beautiful the way it's done? This is algiz. This is the Z sound. It never comes at the beginning of the word, it always comes at the end of a word. So here it's algiz with the Z at the end. And it literally means an elk or a stag. And when you see it come up in the reading, it means that there is protection and that you're standing up for what you believe in. Really beautiful. I love that. This is pretty simple. This is similar to the letter S. This is Sowolo, and it means sun. So similar to the sun card in tarot, we have light, power, and energy. Sowolo. There's a kingfisher. He's caught his little fish there. I love the iris in the background. Very pretty. And this is similar to the modern day T, although it looks more like a little arrow there. This is Tiwaz, and that's actually derived from the Old Norse god Tyr, and that is the god for which the day Tuesday was named. So when you see Tiwaz in a reading, it generally means focus, dedication, or growth. Progress toward a goal. If you look at the arrow going up, you're progressing toward a higher goal. Love the eagle on that, Tiwaz. Here we have, very similar to today, B for the B sound, Berkano. That comes from the Old Norse word for birch tree. And when you see this in a reading, it's generally associated with birth, family, fertility, nurturing, sort of like the Empress card. All right, this rune is called Ewaz. It literally means horse in Old Norse. And when you see this card in a reading, it's more affiliated with marriage or partnership, or think of the bond between a man and a horse. And here we have manaz. This is the M sound, manaz. It literally means man. And when you see this card in a reading, it means your uniqueness, your identity. It could be your culture, your personality, something unique to you as a member of mankind. So what makes you stand alone? And this is laguz, so this is the sound of L, laguz, and it literally means lake. So when this card comes up in a reading, it's similar to water, the element of water in tarot. You're thinking of femininity, dreams, the unknowable, flowing, emotions, laguz. This is the rune ingwaz. It represents the sound ing, such as sing or ring, the ng sound. And sometimes you'll see this as two X's, one on top of the other. Sometimes you'll just see it as like the diamond in the middle. So ingwaz was actually a god of agriculture in Old Norse. And so therefore this card is usually associated with masculinity, seed, fertility, and sometimes partnership. Ingwaz. This is the rune from which we now have the sound D, duh for D. This is dagaz, and it literally means day in Old Norse. And when you see this card come up in a reading, it means to evolve, to grow. There's balance, sort of like the Justice card there. Night and day, two sides of a coin, that's sort of an idea. Dagaz, or day. And here is the very last rune. This is Othala, and it literally means an inheritance. So generally this card has to do with an heirloom or a legacy, land, possessions, a stable value of something. And it can be associated with excess consumerism. So I hope you enjoyed this quick run through. I'm going to leave a link in the description box for these lovely rune cards. Oh, and let's look at the back. So here we have very pretty, kind of greenish. We've got this theme of the radiating lines from the center, and we've got, looks like the earth there, or the moon. No, that's actually the moon, I think. There we have that, that's the light side of the moon that we see. And here we have the runes radiating out all around the moon there. The stars. Beautifully done. I really like that back of these cards. So I hope you enjoyed this quick walkthrough of the... Oh, look here, I got number 719 out of 1,111 from the Kickstarter. So that is the Witch's Familiar Runic Oracles. Take care, and we'll talk to you again next time.